You know so much about peptides and longevity. What are the peptides that have you most excited?
I'm going to go back to the story about heterochronic parabiosis and, young blood and, young serum. We know that in young people, there's certain factors that really make older animals or older people supposedly de-age. Okay. So what are those compounds? Okay. And what are some of these key peptides or proteins, right? So the latest research really is about 4 key peptides. First of all, follistatin. We all know we hit our 40s, we can't build the muscle we used to do. We work out harder, we build less muscle. Now, follistatin inhibits myostatin, which is something we start to produce in our 40s, which inhibits muscle growth. But follistatin does other things. It dramatically drops inflammation. It actually may be actively involved in some cognition enhancement. But we mainly see the muscle loss is a big problem in older people because of what we call sarcopenia. Older people lose so much muscle, they can't even get out of a chair or be independent. So I think follistatin is and by the way, follistatin is one of the few new peptides that's actually being approved in the U.S. for now childhood muscle wasting diseases.
Interesting.
So that's now approved. It's not out at there as a treatment everybody can have yet, but we're going to talk a little bit more in a few minutes about how that might happen shortly. What's the other protein? Klotho. Now, Klotho,
my favorite. I wrote about both of these, especially Klotho in my book, and you couldn't buy it anywhere.
Yes. And so now that's becoming synthesized. And Klotho, why do I love that? Is Klotho is one of the most important things for neural regeneration, cognition, and you and I are big fans of that. But it also enhances cardiac function, renal function, a host of other things. So these are compounds I'm sure are in that little young mix in the blood that is impacting older pigs. What else? Okay, so we're looking now at GDF11. Now, GDF11 may turn out to be, and it's my personal opinion, one of the most important peptides because GDF11 has a unique ability to repair damage to your stem cells.
Wow,
which
so you can
means
de-age those.
It actually, and the research is pretty strong to show it actually is restoring the DNA damage so that stem cell quality, it improves.
Can I buy GDF11 now?
There are certain places on the web that say they have it for sale, and you have to be very careful. But yes, there are. And again, I don't know about the quality of those things, but
assuming it's good quality, how do you dose GDF11?
Well, see, that's another thing. You can, and I'll mention one person who's been involved in that for the last a number of years, and actually been collecting data, Steve Perry. And you can go to YouTube and see his data, which will blow your mind away. That arterial elasticity is decreased, blood pressure's down, cognitive function's better, a whole host of things. It's actually anti-cancer preventive.
Wow!
So this seems to be one of the things that we're looking at at the research level. And by the way, I don't know if you know, I'm on staff at David Sinclair's lab at Harvard at the Paul F. Glenn Center, and David and I have been, I guess, for over almost 15 years, able to have conversations about where the future may be going. And again, these are some of the things that I think he's very knowledgeable about.
And he's been on the show, I think, a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else? What other peptides? PGC1 alpha.
Oh, let me take does nicotine in pharmaceutically extracted raise PGC1 alpha? Oh my gosh.
So I hear. Now, not only does it raise that, but what does that do is now we're looking at the bioenergetics at the cellular level.
Yeah.
So we all know that we lose our mitochondrial number and the ability of those mitochondria to make more amounts of ATP, which are what drive the cellular. It's a cellular fuel, right? And we know about NMN, we know about nicotinamide riboside, we know those things help too, but PGC1 alpha actually helps with mitochondrial biogenesis. Okay, so why is that important? Is because we now know that if we make less ATP, our cells, our stem cells and body cells aren't going to work. So when you put these 4 or 5 peptides together, okay, we start to now open another whole doorway to where the future of longevity aging medicine is going. The question is, how might we deliver those instead from an oral pathway? How could we deliver those in a long-term manner? And perhaps how could we even enhance the level of those things that even a young person would have, so we function even better.